Hi friends, uh, my name is Kharis. This is my first vlog about just the time as a creative, living life. I have Mondays off always from work, so I like to do something creative, hang out with my cat who's fucking mean, and pass the time away. Rot. So today I want to talk about my knitting journey. I started knitting probably 2021 late, as usual, to things after the pandemic. I've had a lot of time in my life being like a fiber artist girly, crocheting, knitting poorly in the past. My sister is an avid knitter, avid crocheter, is like a master of amigurumi and knits things for like patients and like other nurses at the hospital. She's like a modern day Teresa, very fabulous. I've taken up knitting recently, like I said, more as like an artistic outlet, also to help release a little bit of stress I was feeling in life. And I'm pretty selfish with it. I like knitting for myself. Maybe if I get a little bit faster, I'll start thinking about knitting for other people. But right now, I would just like to work on improving skills, making things that are more like garments or like wearable. So today I'd like to talk about how I started my journey and one of the biggest issues that I've had to deal with as a beginner knitter or a novice knitter, and that's twisted stitches. Honestly, the very first garment that I knit had a twisted, started off bottom up, very simple, great for beginners. I'll link this below, the Delilah Vest. The one I have is very ugly, so I don't want to show it, but it is still pretty much a valid, actually I'll show it, I'll be right back. And I'm back. This is the very first thing I've ever knitted. It's not cute. It's not cute. This is the Delilah Vest. A very cute pattern. I'll put a picture of her sample so you see what it's supposed to look like, but this is mine. This is my very first knit I have. She's a Frankenstein, but I love her, and she's very cozy. But either way, this starts bottom off. Sorry, if you see some moving, it's because my cat's being an asshole. She pretty. Now, this started bottom up in twisted ribbing. And when I looked it up, I was like, oh, twisted, that's just like a goofy name. I don't know, like, crafters name, but like kind of goofy, corny things all the time. I didn't know that it was actually twisted, and this is not the way you knit a normal, regular styled stitch. So I knit the whole top twisted stitches, knitting and purling through the back loop, like the entire thing, as you could see. And it's, usually with twisted stitches, it kind of tightens the garment. This one, it didn't really matter because this is superwash. It's like half superwash wool, mostly superwash wool and a little bit of polyamide, which I did not know you should not wet block. I fully wet blocked this like this was a knitted garment. And as soon as I took it out, I was like, oh, you fucked up. That was a mistake. It is just so floopy and droppy. Like I said, very comfy, but pretty much formless and not the most attractive garment you've ever put on your body. I'll tell you that for free. I definitely have plans to unravel this and knit this again because I really love this colorway. It's my first garment. I was watching, I think, all Harry Potter movies because it's very quick make when you know what you're doing. When you don't, it takes 4 Harry Potter movies. So that set the start of, a couple of, I wouldn't say horrendous mistakes because I've gotten some things that I really like out of this. So I'm not going to say it was a total, sorry, my cat is just stealing tea, being a menace, honestly. Next thing I have is the Monster Vest by Knit, Stitch, and Repeat. This is probably the second the third very successful garment that I have. And as you can see, very twisted, all twisted stitches, all twisted. Because at this point, I thought that's how you knit. And there's some spots in the back where I had somehow, in the round, it's so much easier to knit, I guess, properly. So somehow most of the round I got through with no twisted stitches. I have no idea how this happened. I really can't tell you. Like something possessed my body and made me knit properly. But you could see that when I split for the, when you separate for the armpits and split for the back and the front, the stitches go back to immediately being twisted. In the back, this is in definite need of shade and it's acrylic yarn. So you can see, you can see the difference. I still really love this piece. Also, insert a picture of when it was new. I wear this one all of the time. I was so proud of this. I love the color blend. I watched the Barbie movies and I rewatched all of Adventure Time when I made this. So it's pretty special to me. The Barbie movie, not so much. It was cute. But Adventure Time, of course, has a special place in my heart. So all of these colors in the vibe, and like honestly, the goofiness reminds me of it. And people are always like, "Oh, did you make that?" It looks handmade, it's still pretty. So compliments, but I'm not fooling anyone into thinking that it's like store bought. Brings me to my third piece. I knitted this one right after I got like, I have a really bad situationship and it was so bizarre and I cried a lot, and I knit this while I cried, and it was around Christmas. It was a lot going on. But this is my second version of the Vickys Vest. I'll put a little picture of that as well. My first one that I cannot find, for the life of me, I knit in, it's a one size design, already like a bad sign, but it was very small. It was like a bralette or like a sports bra on me. Like I'm 5'8", and I've got, I've got some chests, I've got some chesticles, I've got some things going on. So, it just kind of like stretched out immediately. This one, I did not notice it in the line. Of course, being like my second time knitting anything, I didn't want to do any kind of knitting math. I'm terrified of math. Anytime you start saying numbers more than 3, I'm fucking confused. I don't want to talk anymore. So when going back after I've been knitting it the first time, I was like, okay, well, I'll try out this little math and see what happens. And I was able to build one a little bit more oversized. This one lands about like around the waist for me. It's a more masculine look. I like to layer it over like a light colored turtleneck or like a t-shirt and like baggy pants. I am the recipient of a lot of yarn. Thankfully, I cannot complain. A lot of it is like acrylic yarn that I don't really like from my crochet days. All my friends are crochet girlies, and we all bought acrylic yarn like back in the days in our early 20s. So I have so much acrylic yarn to get through, and some of it is very ugly. Like people were like, "Oh, do you want this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I'll take your ugly ass yarn." Not to be rude, but it's not my style. I'll say it's not for me. But I've been finding easier ways to like work with it and blend things together to make pieces that I actually like. So in the front, you have like more of this style that reminds me of like the Knit Edit and Knit Stitches Repeats blends when they do their items. Like the Knit Edit has this really awesome color blending style that I feel like comes through a little bit better on this side with the gradient yarn. This is made with Red Heart Super Saver, one in that Ogo, that circular thing, the paper journal or like newsprint, like a gray to black to white gradient, but like off white. And the other one is one of their rainbow ones, but it's not really rainbow because there's like no blue in it, which I feel like just aggravated the shit out of me. I have no idea why, but it's aggravating. But I love the color variant in the back. I really like this piece. It's, like I said, thick acrylic held in 3, so it is very, very stiff. I blocked this twice and it didn't care. It was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean lukewarm water and pens? Absolutely not. Sorry, I meant to say what I said. But as you can see, every single stitch twisted. Twisted. Not gonna happen. Every single one of them. The next item I have is a very interesting one because this is the first one that I've done that wasn't like super, super jumbo. It's still chunky yarn and it's still pretty thick, but this was knit on size 6.5 needles, which at this point was the smallest needle I'd ever used. The first one being done on 15s and the second two being done on 10s and 12s. So this is the My Go-To Vest by Brenda, Beatific Brenda. I found her on Etsy. This was it's crazy. This has to be the 4th thing I've ever cast on. So very, very new in my knitting career, but it's about the 9th thing that I finished. So I've spent a lot of time with this. It took over a year to do because, like I said, it was my first time working on 6.5. I found it very boring and I was already very lost. This design, I'll show a picture, is made for a cropped tank that is fitted with negative ease. This goes all the way like past my lowered waist, like past my hip size. I have no idea. And I didn't modify this pattern. I was trying to follow directions. Like I was trying to follow the rules. But if you could see, it starts off twisted. You could see, let me get a better one. You could see where I started off twisting it. And this is when I started getting on Reddit and talking to like the knitting people on there. And they were telling me so many different ways that you could twist your stitches, which is what kept happening. Every time I corrected like knitting through the back loop, I realized I was still purling through the back loop. Or I was knitting through the right loop, but I was twisting my yarn the wrong way. And then having to do it, like it's 4 different elements you have to keep track of: back and front loops and twisting over or under with your yarn, or yarning over or under, I mean. And as you can see, I kept trying to go back and forth and fix it and like try to fix what I thought was wrong, and so you result in like something where like some of them are untwisted, Some of them are very twisted, and then the top we're back to untwisted again. And this just repeats itself. In the body, when we get in the round, as I've said before, it's so much easier. It was so much more intuitive to knit in the round untwisted. I don't know why. Like I said, I only have a background in crochet. And once I learned how to do continental, holding the strand in this hand, for some reason it just gave crochet, and I knew that I was twisting my yarn in the right way. I have no idea. I cannot explain it. But taking some time off on this was really helpful, really beneficial, because I was able to like watch a lot of knitting YouTube, watch a lot of like knitting technical tutorials, and talk to a lot of people on the knitting Reddit. So I was able to finally figure out how I was twisting my stitches and what I had to do to knit deliberately and purposefully to get the result that I wanted. So as you have it, you have the rest of it, the top, no twisted stitches, the folded down color spreads beautifully. Look at that. And to me, this was beautifully, because this is, like I said, I showed you those other two garments. I started those after I started this. This is actually, I take it back, this is the third thing I've casted on. But it took me so long to finish that I had like 3 other garments done beforehand. So I was able to finally see on this one where I needed to go. And now we have a completely twisted stitch free folded neckband. Huge fan of that. And because I'd finally gotten this one together, I was able to immediately, I really ended up enjoying this too. Like, I was like, okay, it took forever, but it really nice fabric, really puffy collar, really comfy. I didn't mean to make it a Gryffindor colors. I mean, I'm definitely a Ravenclaw, but it's what I had at hand at the time. All right, this is my last garment with twisted stitches, and this is the Monster Sweater by Knit, Stitch, and Repeat. Like I said, I have so much fucking acrylic yarn, and I'm really trying to work through the stash, because I'm not a huge yarn stash girly at all. I don't like looking at a lot of yarn. It makes me feel like Rumpelstiltskin. I don't care for it. So I love these. I love Knit, Stitch, Repeat's design. I love the Knit Edits design, using up a lot of yarn, turning like a lot like worsted yarn into bulky weight yarn. Fabulous for me. We're moving right along. So this one starts twisted at the bottom. This is a bottom up knit, and I was still trying to figure out how to get it done. I don't mind it on this one though, because it almost creates a cinching effect in what is already a really voluminous and balloony garment. I like cozy pieces as much as the next girl, but I really don't need a whole lot of positive ease. I like for things to be form-fitting. I like for things to have some sort of structure, and when it comes to my fashion. But the color is beautiful. The body is knit with 3 strands, while the sleeves are knit with 4. Don't ask me why, please. Don't ask me why. I don't know why I made this decision, but I still love it. These sleeves are the best thing ever. They're so chunky. They're so cushiony. I am so tempted to make another one. If I had such a cute blend, or like knew the blend I was going to do, if I figured out, I'm definitely making another one just for these sleeves alone. They're so comfy. And I do really like the color blend. Like, I like this color blend so much that when I was running out, I went and bought like another roll of like this like aqua acrylic yarn. So now I have even more to like fucking work out of my stash. But it doesn't matter. We do it for the goals. We do it for the fashion. We do it for the big ass sleeves and the ends we will never leave. All right. Now on to, this is where things get good. This is where it all comes together, girlfriend. Second act. Number 2. My second ever Brenda Vest. Look at it, properly done, properly sized. It is properly right where you want it to. It's perfect. This is also my first garment that I'm getting away from acrylic yarn. This is done in Drops Snow Peacock Blue. Fabulous color. Also, the little accents are done in Curry. A great yellow. The yellow not only is like a more masculine mustard yellow, but it also has these flecks of green and red like weaved into it, however they've done it. If you're familiar with Drops, it's pretty much an unplaid wool yarn in like a bulky weight size, mainly made for felting, but excellent for garments. Like it, oh my god, knitting this felt fabulous on 6.5s, on my 6.5 Chiagoos, metal needle girly, I think, even though I have a ton of wooden. I'm a whatever needle. Like, as long as I get the needles, I'm a knit. Except for bamboo. It's a chop for bamboo for me. Not going to happen. I have nothing to say about this. First garment, fully free of twisted stitches. Not a twist in sight. You can't get her twisted. She's on the straight and narrow. The drape is beautiful. blocking this was a dream, and it really showed the difference between using natural fibers and like synthetic acrylic fibers. It really just does. No hate to her, and like I said, she's an early addition, she's an elder daughter, so you know, mistakes were made during her upbringing. But like, Jesus Christ, she walked so her sister could run. I love this. I'm gonna make so many more in drops snow. I just have nothing else to say. It's beautiful. I've worn this so many times, and like, there's minimal peeling. I just have nothing to say. I love this. I'll post some pictures of me wearing it, but this is like the first time I actually made like a garment. Like these are beautiful, but like, say something like this or this feels more like a statement or an art piece. This feels like a garment. This that I'm wearing now, this is the Berlin Baby Tee by made by Roshi. Feels like a garment. And this is a little bit of acrylic and natural fibers. This is drops brushed alpaca, and they're lilac. And this is Loops and Threads, the soft and shiny. I'll have to put on. I'll put it on the screen, whatever this yarn is. I forgot what it was. These two feel like garments. Like, there are people like, oh, you made that? I'm like, yeah, this is by my hands, baby. Bespoke. So I so excited about this, and like, it just put so much more fire into me too. Right after I finished that, I cast on my third Vickys Vest, baby, at the correct size, but still cropped, still feminine, in a blend of a lot of acrylics. You got some loops and threads, that's shiny green. You have one of my favorite acrylic yarns that I think feels great, DK Lion Brand's Ice Cream and Ube, a blend of that, and a couple of other acrylic lilacs that I had just laying around. It's a stash buster. Beautiful. But I love the way it sits. I'll have a video of it. Like, the way the hem sits. The hem is done on 10 millimeter, and the body is done on 12. So it just kind of curves, hugs the curve right there where it hits like right around my actual waist. So fabulous. Huge fan of this. And my last one that I've just finished like a couple of weeks ago, and like I said, it's most of these are acrylic yarn, so even though it's only a couple of weeks old, it is already peeled up, baby. Peeled up. She needs a shave. But I love her. Honestly, this is a Loops and Threads, another one of the yarns similar to the one in this Berlin Baby Tee. This is my second monster vest. I did quite a few changes from the original. Here's her older sister. This is based on the original pattern. She has the ribbing at the bottom. She has the ribbing around the collar, and she has a ribbing around the armholes. I like her. I feel like she definitely gives like a little bit older vibe. I wanted something like cute and Gen Z, and I feel like this one is definitely a little bit more like that. I cut the ribbing short at the top. I gave it a rolled bottom. So it kind of sits like right beneath the breast, which I love, and just a neat little bound off, like super stretchy edge for the armpits. I love the color variation on it. Like, I think it's so pretty, even as acrylic yarn. And yeah, it needs a shave. You're getting up close. She furry. Yes, she needs a little shave, but because I keep blurring her, honestly. But this is my latest one. I now realize that as I go to my knitting journey, I have so many patterns saved, but I realize that I really want to knit everything twice. Like, I want to knit everything that I have twice. I get so much more perspective when I get to run through a garment the second time. I've really noticed that, having three of these all different, two of these different, but the same pattern, but totally different, sisters, not twins. Gain so much perspective the second time, and you're able to like just really kind of make things own and turn it into what you want. Like, I just love it. It's like sisters, not twins. Sisters, not twins. Sisters, definitely not twins. Like Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Are y'all related? Yes. All in all, knitting has brought so much more new joy into my life. I cannot even tell you. Like, it's been a good ass fucking time. Like, I can't wait for what's going to happen in the future, what I'm going to be knitting next, what I'm going to be working on next. I have so many plans and like so many other working pieces that I haven't even finished. I have to show y'all. So all in all, my goal is to get through my acrylic yarn, have less of a stash, and mainly buy yarn with intentions, except for like certain surprises like Jamie, One of my favorite creators, Jamie Creates, she's just collaborated with King Fiber for a box that I know I'm going to like spend some hard-earned money on just because I want those fibers. They look beautiful. So unless it's going to be like cute stuff like that or gifts, I think I'm only going to buy from my stash with intention for the project itself. I haven't like shopping my stash. I don't like not having quite enough or not the quite right size or this, that, and the third. I just want to get through it. And like a lot of these bulky projects, number one, I love color pairing. I love just creating different color combinations. And number two, I want more better fibers. I want natural fibers. I want less quantity and more quality in the future of my life. Not just in knitting, but with everything, but knitting right now. Either way, thank you so much for sitting here, looking at my fucking knits, like chatting with me, looking at my cat, who's probably somewhere ruining something in my home. I'm so excited to find out what it is. Well, have fun at work.